Jagdambe Mata Ki Jai, Haidakhandi Mata Ki Jai, Vishveshwari Mata Ki Jai, Bule Baba Ki Jai. So welcome back to this fourth day of Spring Navratri. And we're back in the temple. We're going to do a little chanting and then we'll have a discourse. So grateful that we're together and we're warm in the temple because it was very cold outside. Let's start with Jai Ganesh. It's number 23. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Haidakhandi Day, also Mother Kali Day. So let's sing one too, Mother Kali. By Chamundaye. It's number 3. Chamundaye Kalima Kalima. So very easy words. number 5. Oh, that's so beautiful. As if Mother's not here already, we're going to call her here.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Of course, the truth is she's always here in our hearts.
Right.
We just forget. That's why we do this song, to remind us. And welcome everybody that keeps coming and coming on this beautiful Saturday of Navratri. It's so nice to have you all. Just take the camera. And we'll have Darshan here at Baba and all the folks here singing and sharing for Navratri. And you are all welcome to come in closer to Mother, and I'm going to tell a story. So come for the story, bye-bye. And we'll come in here for darshan of the Devi little table where we did the puja this morning. And now we'll have the camera here for Mother. So everybody can sit all in here. I'll just ask you not to touch the camera if you can avoid that. So nice to have you. So everybody think Mother looks pretty today?
Yes.
Do you like that color?
Yeah.
I can tell because you have it in your hat. So pretty.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we've been reading every day for the Navratri out of the very big book called the Srimad Devi Bhagavatam. And this is a shorter, condensed version, which is easier to tell the short stories at this time. And this story is going to be about Sataksi. Anybody know who she is? She's the mother with so many eyes because she was so sad when Durgamas heard all of her children. So I'm going to read this to you, okay? So the question was put about, I have heard the Devi Parvati is also called Sataksi, which means thousand-eyed. And so the people who are listening, just like you, said, how did she get that name? And so Veda Vyasa, who taught this to Sutta, is now going to tell the story. Veda Vyasa, my master, said, in time out of mind, when all beings were immensely greater than they are in these diminished times, there was a demon. Do you know what a demon is?
No.
demon somebody who's not being very kind.
Opposites of God.
Sometimes I think we forget, and we probably take on some of those characters when we're not kind too. So it's important that we listen to these stories, okay? So there was this demon called Durgama. Okay? Durgama once thought to himself that the Munis, who sustain the Dharma and the three worlds, have their strength from the Vedas. For it is with the mantras and the fire ceremonies, the yagyas and sacrifices prescribed in the sacred books that they worship the devas, who in turn are sustained by their worship. If the Vedas could be destroyed, that demon calculated, so could the Munis' power, and thus the devas themselves could be destroyed. Durgama took himself to the loftiest mountain in the Himalayas and sat in freezing drift of snow, sort of like we were doing at the fire ceremony today, and began an intense, unequaled tapasya. He started meditating in the snow. He worshipped Brahma, the creator of all the races, in the space within his heart, unflinching, never opening his eyes, breathing just once or twice every hour. That great demon sat in his single obsessive purpose. 1,000 years went by, and that demon's Dhyan grew so powerful that the tejas, the luster from his head, spiraled through the three worlds. All the fire realms were pervaded by this heat, and the devas grew terrified. No god can ignore such tapasya as Durgama sat in. And at the end of the 1,000 years, Brahma appeared to them. And he said, he came mounted on his white swan. Durgama was dazzled by the splendor of the four-faced apparition, and opening his eyes, prostrated his emaciated form before the creator, Brahma. Brahma said, "Ask what your boon you would like of me, demon, and it shall be yours." The demon said, "Lord of the worlds, let the Vedas belong to me. Let the power of every mantra in all four Vedas suffuse me, so that I can conquer the devas and be sovereign of the worlds. From this moment, let no one else have the Vedas but me." After his searing penance, Brahma could not refuse this demon. But Brahma is the author of the Vedas, so he flinched to hear what the demon wanted, but he had to say, "Let it be so." At once, all the Brahmanas, all the people forgot the Vedas. No longer did they perform the sacred rituals that kept harmony in all things. No longer did they make the fire ceremonies like we just had that kept peace and light in the world. No more did they offer worship to the devas and all the other ceremonies. No longer did the gods receive the offerings that made them strong, and with they in turn nurtured the worlds. So at the fire ceremony, we're making all the offerings, and it's for all the devas throughout all the energies throughout the cosmos, and it keeps them strong, and it keeps the world in harmony. And this didn't happen anymore. So let's find out what happened when no more fire ceremonies and other ceremonies were done. A dreadful cry arose from the world, as if every soul of creation had perished. The Brahmanas trembled and wailed, "How has this happened?" Soon everything was to be explained. The demon Durgama, radiant with the immense power of the Vedas, shining like 10 suns, arrived at the gates of heaven and blew an echoing challenge on his war conch, like the thunder of the apocalypse. The devas were so weak they fled from the demon, knowing they could not fight him in their condition. They were weak because they weren't getting any offerings from all the devotees. Knowing they could not fight him in their condition, Indra and his people hid in the secret caverns of Mount Sumeru and began to worship the Divine Mother. So they had the right idea, right? When we're in trouble, to pray to the Divine Mother. Meanwhile, with the Brahmanas having lost the Vedas, all fire ceremonies ceased on earth. Great epidemics stalked the world. Terrible plagues visited the sons of men, and even the natural beasts suffered, since not a drop of rain fell. Rivers and pools, tanks and lakes all ran dry. A savage drought swept the earth. Indeed, for 10 years this drought lasted, and millions of people died. Men and beasts, bird and insect, even the plants of the world died. So many people were dead that there were even enough people to do the ceremonies and to bury them. Meanwhile, the Brahmanas of the earth met together and climbed the blessed mountains, the Himalayas, and there sat in tapasya to the Divine Mother, Devi Bhagavati. Ceaselessly they chanted her sacred names and begged her to save the world. At last, pleased by their devotion, the Divine Mother appeared before them one day. She was effulgent. She was black as coal. She was four-armed with a bow and a quiver, a lotus, and the bright seeds of life in her four hands. She was entirely beautiful, and when the Brahmanas prostrated themselves at her feet and begged her to help them, it is told that the Devi suddenly had 1,000 eyes. So now we find out about her name. She suddenly had 1,000 eyes all over her dark body. These eyes were wide open and full of grief. She was so sad to see her children in such misery. She began to weep. She began to cry from those 1,000 eyes, and her tears flowed as precious streams and rivers down into the world. Then she raised her fourth hand and scattered all those divine seeds that she had in them. And from these sprang up fruit trees and every kind of plant and vegetable, grass and grain all over the famined world. The Devi's tears rose into heaven as vapor, and thunderstorms lashed for the parched earth, which drank down the life-giving waters in gratitude. When all this happened in less time than it takes to tell, the Devas also emerged from the caves of Sumru, where they huddled in fright like hunted animals. They drank the tears of the Divine Mother's mercy and were renewed by them. And with the Brahmanas, they too began to hymn the Mother of the universe. She fed them unearthly roots and fruits with her own hands, and they had their strength back. For her 1,000 eyes that wept in mercy, the Devi is called Sataksi. And for the precious green food she gave the starving Brahmanas and Devas, indeed the earth, she was called Sakambari. Now the Devas and Brahmanas implored her, Mother, please restore the Vedas to us, or how will we sustain ourselves, let alone the three worlds? Meanwhile, the demon, Durgama, who ruled now all the worlds, heard the thunderstorm of the Devi's tears. He saw lightning gash the sky and knew that danger threatened. That demon set out for the Himalayas with a huge army and came. Seeing him come, the Devas and the Brahmanas cried to the Devi in tears, cried to the Divine Mother. They said, "Save us, Mother, or we're going to die." Smiling, she drew a luminous circle of protection around them with her hand. She stayed outside the circle herself. Durgama and his army arrived, and a frenzied battle broke out. The face of the sun was covered with blizzards of arrows, so darkness fell over the world, and the archers of both sides could see not clearly anymore. The mountain shook with virile twangings of bowstrings. Pierced with 1,000 asura demon shafts, the Devi gave a scream to freeze the rivers of the mountain. She grew vaster, still bigger and brighter, and now from her body there issued all the Mahashaktis, the ferocious goddesses, Kalika, Tarini, Tripura, Bhairavi, Kamali, and on. 10,000 of them. They sprang howling from the black body of the Devi Bhagavati in a moment. And in a moment too, the ravaging Shaktis killed and consumed hundreds of the demons, thousands. Durgama's roars shook heavens and earth. And in a froth, he charged the Shaktis with the other 900 legions. 10 days and nights the battle lasted. With the arcane strength from the Vedas coursing through his body, this great demon faced the Mahashakti. They fought for barely an hour, and then those elemental women fled from him, for he was irresistible. Durgama came face to face at last with the Devi Bhagavati. They were like two figures out of a cosmic dream of darkness and light. The Devi entirely beautiful, serene and effulgent, and the demon, dread incarnate, evil embodied. For 12 hours they fought, and while they did, the earth no longer rotated on her axis. So terrific was their contention. The sun stood still at his zenith, gazing down in awe at that battle. The Devas and the Brahmanas and the Asuras whom the Shaktis had not slain all cowered in terror at its ferocity. Then with a roar that sent avalanches hurtling down the mountain slopes, the Devi loosed 15 sizzling arrows at the demon. In the blink of an eye, the first 4 killed the demon's horses, the 5th beheaded his swarthy, the 6th and 7th put out his eyes, and the 8th cut down his flagstaff, the 9 and 10 severed his arms, and the last 5 smashed into his heart, so it blew apart in an explosion of blood. The demon fell at the Devi's feet, and as the Devas and the Brahmanas watched wonderstruck, a lucific light of his spirit emerged from his body and merged with the Bhagavati, the Divine Mother. The Devas and Rishis fell on their faces before the Divine Mother and sang her praises. They saw that in her delicate hands, which had strewn the seeds of plants across the earth, there now shone something else now, blinding with light. With an ineffable smile, she returned the Vedas to the Brahmanas, and the Divine Mother vanished. And because she slew the demon Durgama, she was known as Durga from then on. Mother Durga Mata Ki Jai, Mother Lakshmi Mata Ki Jai, Mother Saraswati Mata Ki Jai, Mother Bhuvaneshwari Mata Ki Jai, Vishveshwari Mata Ki Jai, Bole Baba Ki Jai. So are there any questions? Did anybody learn anything from that story?
Yes,
What did you learn?
I learned about Durga.
About Durga and how she got her name, right?
Yeah.
And also how important it is for us to say our prayers and attend the different ceremonies and things, because it nourishes the whole universe. And hopefully we don't get in that situation that they got into, where there's no rain and everybody started dying, things like that. So, did you learn anything? What did you learn?
That there was also
A demon?
yeah,
Yeah.
olden times.
There were demons in olden times too, yes. And the fact is that we carry all of these things in our hearts too, when we always have the opportunity to be kind and loving to people. So we don't have to encourage the demon activities. So, okay, well, thank you all for joining us today. And I'd be happy to give Chanting to everybody that didn't get it yet. I'll have it over there after it's thawed out. It froze during the fire ceremony today. And then also down in the Earth ship, there's a big Bandara feast. So please, everybody, help yourself, and thank you for all coming.
Thank you.
Jai. We'll just finish off the video here, and we'll take a little closer darshan of Mother. Let's see all of her children also here listening to the. Bule Baba Ki Jai, Jagdambe Mata Ki Jai. We'll reconvene tomorrow morning at 8:30.